What's going on for my people that's going to be coming in on YouTube? We're live now. We're live. For those that's coming in on YouTube, guys, make sure that you go ahead and click that notification bell. Click the notification bell. Also, make sure you guys subscribe, like, share tonight's broadcast. Definitely click the notification bell. Make sure you guys visit newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news in Black America today. Definitely visit newstoter.com, the largest Black-owned Black curation platform today in America. It helps you stay up to date on what's going on in Black America and around the world as well, too, and in the country. Glad to be back, guys. We was off yesterday. Glad to be back up in the actual podcast / YouTube, Twitter space. What's going on with you guys? We're live once again. We're going to be talking tonight about the quote-unquote Asian American model minority label that they've been given. We're going to discuss that tonight. We're going to also talk about the situation in Mississippi with the police force down there called the Goon Squad. We actually talked about that a while ago in one of the podcast / spaces, but we're going to speak up on the actual Goon Squad as well as that's down there in Mississippi. But we definitely tonight we're going to be talking about this actual label that a lot of Asian Americans have been given over the years as being the actual model minority. And very, very good article from the Sacramento Observer, one of our curation partners that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be reading that and discussing that tonight as well, too, as well as we're going to touch up on the situation, like I say, with the Mississippi cops and the shenanigans they're pulling off. If you guys missed the last space about Juliana Margulies, the last podcast, definitely go ahead and catch that. That was a very interesting topic we covered a couple nights ago. So definitely, if you have not, definitely catch out that that podcast, broadcast, whatever you want to call it, space. And real quick, I'm gonna touch up on this situation that's going on in Mississippi, guys, and then I'm gonna touch up on the actual situation, of course, about the Asian American and the stereotype of being the model minority as well, too. Shout out to my girl, Miss Brooke, over there in YouTube land. What's up, Brooke? Also known as Blood Pack over here in Twitter street. So shout out to my girl, Brooke. Glad to see you over there. Yeah, this is from the Chicago Defender. And this is about the situation with the cops and all of the shenanigans and the assaults and everything they pulling down there in Mississippi. We touch up on that real quick. It's up in the Jumbotron, guys. The article about the Mississippi cops, it says, report claims Mississippi cops broke the law for years. It's up in the Jumbotron if you're on Twitter, and if you're on YouTube, it's up in the description. Matter of fact, all of the articles are either in the Jumbotron on Twitter, and the articles on YouTube are up in the actual description as well, too. Several deputies in Mississippi's Rankin County Sheriff's Department have engaged in excessive force, police brutality, and abuse unchecked for years, according to reports. The department was initially thrust into the national spotlight after 5 deputies from the department who referred to themselves as the Goon Squad tortured and sexually assaulted Michael Jenkins and Eddie Terrell Parker, 2 Black men, during a raid earlier this year. According to court documents and incident reports obtained by Business Insider, the violent incident is among several examples of police brutality that officers have gotten away with for years. 2 of the officers involved in the torture, Jenkins and Parker, Christian Dedmon and Hunter L. Ward, were also reportedly present for the deaths of 2 other Black men in 2019 and 2021. One incident report reveals that L. Ward punched Damian Cameron at least 3 times and tased him before his death, according to Monica Lee Cameron's mother. Deputies knelt on his back over 15 minutes despite complaints that he couldn't breathe. Elward and Dedmon also were present for the police shooting of Pierre Woods in February 2019, according to documents. Other deputies in the department also engaged in violence and abuse that sometimes went on for hours, seemingly to strike fear into their victims, according to witnesses interviewed by the New York Times. Can we really say that this is surprising going on in Mississippi? Because it's going on all over the damn country. But are we really surprised that it would be going on in a place like Mississippi? The same Jackson, Mississippi, that wants to go ahead and in a city that's predominantly Black, want to actually be ruled over by a few white folks. So is this really something that's really surprising? And we did discuss that in the space, that the dudes, not only they got beat up, they were assaulted and everything else, and all kind of crazy stuff was going on. I know you guys been seeing incidents and reports of a woman, I believe that was in Florida, where she's tasing the black man as well too. You got cops mushing people's heads and everything else going on. The interesting thing is, the real thing is anything gonna really be done in Mississippi? Because, like I say, this is pretty much a free for all in Mississippi. This goes on all the time, every day, all day. So what's really gonna change there? Yeah, Brooke, you said nope, no, it's not gonna change. Because let's be for real, who knows how many threats that these officers already put on the actual people that are actually going to testify against them as well too. And I know this is allegedly, we like to say that allegedly, but Mississippi is one of the dirtiest, crookedest, sleaziest, trashiest, hillbilliest states that there is in the actual United States of America. This is part of course for them. They've been doing this for years. If it had not, if we're not in the era that we actually were in, these people actually wouldn't even be complaining because they would know better. They would already got that note and they would already been told to shut up. So, because everything is viral now and everything's going on, people can't really keep people quiet the way they once could, but very interesting to see. Because like I say, in a city like Jackson, which is predominantly black, they're trying to have a small white police force pretty much rule all over. They're trying to control everything in the city where you got a black mayor and black this and black that or whatever. They want to have it where almost like they have their own, like the white folks have their own law to answer to, and yet they still rule over the actual black folks in the actual city, a majority black city at that. So it's no surprise that Jackson, Mississippi is still having a water crisis and situation that it has to this day because nobody takes it serious there. Nobody cares. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to touch up on this situation going on. Shout out to everybody coming in there. Brooke and everybody on YouTube, y'all make sure y'all share out tonight's broadcast. Share out tonight's broadcast, everybody. Definitely like and comment if you're on YouTube. For those that's up in the space here, y'all make sure y'all go ahead. The space isn't recorded, so if people miss the space tonight, they can always catch the replay on they can catch the replay back here on YouTube as well. So you go ahead and tweet it out and they can come in while the space is going. If they can't catch it live, then they can always catch the actual replay of the broadcast on YouTube. Like I said, I want to touch up real quick on this whole situation with the Asian American. This article here is going to talk about everything from civil rights to affirmative action, the tie-in, how you had a certain group of Asians feel like, hey, we know that the Asians were the ones that was actually pushing the actual end affirmative action, while you had another group of them that was actually against it because they didn't want to be blamed for the actual kickback, of undermining civil rights. So very, very interesting article. I'm going to touch up on this. A shout out to the San Francisco Observer. Shout out to my girl Goddess. I see her up in the spot as well too. Shout out to my girl Stephanie as well. What's up, Stephanie? What's up with you? Rebel, what's up with you as well too? I see you guys coming in. Definitely, like I say, definitely go ahead and tweet out the space for me. Opinion: will the Asian American model minority stereotype endure in the post-affirmative action era? This is from the San Francisco Observer, black-owned news website out there in in Sacramento, California. Definitely go ahead and follow them on YouTube, one of our curation partners. So shout out to Sacramento Observer. In the complex and ever-evolving tapestry of the American identity, Asian Americans have been compelled to deal with the myth of being the model minority. This widespread perception appears to have been hardwired into our collective consciousness. This seemingly commendable stereotype wrongly asserts that all Asian Americans uniformly excel in academics, employment, and social roles, contributing to a narrative that inaccurately describes their diverse experiences and potentially serves as a racial wedge, particularly between Asians, Asian Americans, and African Americans. The roots of the model minority myth can be traced back to the mid-20th century. The myth emerged, highlighting the success of Japanese Americans and other Asian American groups as a counter-narrative to the systematic racism allegations that were being raised as the civil rights movement gained momentum. The model minority stereotype obscures a rich diversity within the Asian American community, which comprises over 19.9 million people from more than 40 ethnic groups speaking over 100 languages. each with their own unique cultures, languages, and histories. Despite 91% of Asian American adults maintaining distinct cultural practices, their values align closely with the broader U.S. population. This stereotype frequently overlooks the social and economic hardships experienced by groups like Southeast Asian, Pacific Islanders, and Asian refugees. The impact of issues like social economic instability, unequal educational opportunities, reliance on public health insurance, housing instability, health disparities are often downplayed due to the stereotype, making it difficult to address the unique challenges these communities face. The model minority stereotype contributes to the perpetual foreigner stereotype, implying that Asian Americans, regardless of how long their family has been in the United States, are seen as perpetual outsiders. This feeling of always being seen as a foreigner festers feelings of exclusion and alienation, hindering a number of Asian Americans' full participation in American society. The Supreme Court's recent decision to end affirmative action has elicited mixed reactions both in and outside the Asian American community. The case against Howard University, brought by the Students for Fair Admissions, argued that the university's admission policies discriminated against Asian American applicants. The verdict, which doesn't single out any racial or ethnic group, has raised concerns about its effect on diversity in elite educational institutions, particularly for unrepresented students like Blacks, Latinos, and Asian American subgroups. Some Asian American groups and leaders have criticized the decision, arguing it exploits Asian Americans to undermine civil rights. It is essential to acknowledge and confront the strategic use of the model minority myth as a racial wedge, particularly between Asians and Blacks. This myth, which contrasts the success of one minority group with another, can intensify tensions and perpetuate damaging stereotypes. Understanding the interconnected struggles faced by different minority communities is vital to fostering unity and dismantling the divisive narratives that deepen racial divisions. A prime example of this interconnectedness is a successful campaign Japanese Americans conducted to secure an apology and reparations for their unjust internment during World War II. Influenced by the Civil Rights Movement and Martin Luther King Jr.'s demonstrations against racial injustice, their initiative was supported by Black legislators and activists. This shows how unity and understanding can lead to a significant social change. Beyond its visible impact on their social economic conditions, the model minority stereotype significantly affects the mental health of Asian American. This label makes them feel like they must be perfect in school and conform to high academic expectations, leading to stress and potential mental health problems. Unfortunately, Asian Americans are 2 to 3 times less likely than white people to seek help for mental health issues. This is made worse by the fact that talking about mental health is often stigmatized in their communities. Despite reporting lower discrimination in employment, housing, and criminal justice compared to other racial minorities, Asian Americans face a unique set of stereotypes that render them invisible in the discussions about race and prejudice in America. Evidence suggests that Asian Americans, representing about 6% of the U.S. population, are frequently denied leadership opportunities. Additionally, they are often overlooked in research, clinical outreach, and advocacy efforts. Health outcomes vary greatly among different Asian American groups. Recognizing this diversity exists can help in providing culturally appropriate health care and addressing health disparities. The stereotype of culturally uniformity, which assumes all Asian Americans are identical, has led to the damaging misconceptions. This problem is intensified when Asian Americans see the violent attacks on their community members in the media, resulting in vicarious trauma and emotional distress caused by witnessing harm done to others. Despite the model minority stereotype, hate crimes against Asian Americans rose by 76% in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. These incidents, as documented by the FBI, range from verbal harassment and discrimination to physical assaults. This wave of violence and discrimination has undeniably contributed to vicarious trauma within the Asian American community. Breaking free of this stereotype necessitates a collective effort to challenge preconceptions, celebrate and embrace diversity, and create an inclusive narrative that authentically represents the complexity of being an Asian American. This involves dismantling racial divides and promoting an understanding between communities that have historically encountered systematic challenges. Guided by comprehensive studies like the Pew Research on Asian Americans, this collective effort can pave the way for a far more respectful and united appreciation of the diverse Asian American tapestry of cultures and histories shaping its American identity. What's going on, everybody? Coming up in the space. I see my girl Rera's up in here as well too. Alyssa, what's up with you? Original's up in here, and I know Original's gonna say something nice here as well. Let me read real quick a comment that my girl Brooke she wrote. She says, "To say I feel like a foreigner in the U.S. is sick. They're not from here." Oh Lord, my girl Brooke is already starting. She said, "There is something psychologically wrong with the AAPI." Now, here's the thing, like I said, and I guess it's between different subgroups in the Asian community because a significant portion of Asian Americans indeed love the actual title of being the model minority, and that was one of the big reasons that whichever group of Asian Americans it was that actually went up there and filed those lawsuits against the actual Ivy League schools felt that, hey, we're outperforming everybody, including whites, and we're being discriminated against because basically we're too smart. So they've always, I'm not gonna say all of them, but a significant portion of Asian Americans in the country have always stuck to that actual the model minority type label that they've been given for years. People and a lot of people say, well, look at them. They come over here, they work hard. After generation or two, they're doing this, they're doing that. The kids go to school, they don't get in trouble, they keep the nose clean, yada 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 yada. So to have this article, and it was a good article, not that saying I agree with everything that was in it, but to have the article and say basically, hey, in one end we got a group of Asian people that basically, and let's be fair, and it didn't say that in the article, but you got a group that actually loves that actual title of being the actual model minority, and it was used during the civil rights against Black people. And it's always been used. Well, and the first thing come out the mouth, like, well, racism isn't stopping them from prospering. They make even more money than us. Yeah. So it was always used as that. Now, mind you, they took the actual plight of what Black people went through, and it was Black people in politics that also supported them getting their reparations. They got the apology and everything else, but it's always Black people, and showed just exactly how unselfish they were. They supported them. Now think about that for a second. Here are Black people supporting you because you were put in these internment camps, during World War II, which was wrong because you were American citizen, but nonetheless you were put in these internment camps. And what did Black people do? They sat up there and they supported you. Like they sit up here and they support every other group as well too. Same with the Chinese exclusion. Back in the day, in the 1800s, you had Frederick Douglass speaking up on that. So Black people show you all the time the unselfishness that they have in them. Now you fast forward this, the same people that sit up here and defended and fought for you to go ahead and get an apology and get reparations and to sit up here and call out the mistreatment that you suffer. You sit up here and you say, well, hey, these entitlements that these Black people are getting or whatever, basically, this is not fair. This is not right. Because of these entitlements, because they can't cut the mustard, I'm suffering. I'm the one that's having a hard time because really this shouldn't be right. It should be nothing like this. So basically you have one group of people that set up here and basically supported another group of people. And then when these people got theirs, they kind of turned their back on the people that sat there and say, you know what? Right is right, wrong is wrong. We stand with you guys in solidarity. We have no issue with you. We have no problem with you. So in two different time periods in this country and two different Asian groups in this country, we've had Black people sit up here and defend mistreatment of Asian people. Whether it was Frederick Douglass, who was born a damn slave and was just barely anything more than a slave. He sits up here and he sticks his neck out for the Chinese. Fast forward almost 100 years later, and then his descendants, the people that the freedmen, the people that were slaves in this country, they sit up here and they say, you know what? We also, the Black people that's in politics, you know what, guys? We stand by you, support you as well too. Also, you also had a famous athlete born Cassius Clay by the name of Muhammad Ali. Say them Viet Congs ain't done nothing to me. I don't want to go over here and fight these people. So throughout time, you've always had Black people, sit up here and champion not only Asians' rights in this country, but all people that fit under the bill of minorities. Black people have always supported them, always tried their best. So that the one thing that people can sit up here and say this and that or whatever, historically, we can go and we can look at the records and we can see that Black Americans have always supported these groups, have always looked out for these groups, but yet it ain't being reciprocated. And that's the unfortunate part right there. That's the part that really, you know, that really, I can't say it hurts because we've seen it time and time again. At this time, it should be no surprise. It should be no surprise to anybody whatsoever. The actual the way people feel about Black people. Like I said, too many times we sit up here, and even in these articles, we were talking about the wedge and this and that, the model minority. Just because somebody labeled you a model minority doesn't mean that you had to allow this to be a wedge between us. Because let's be for real, your businesses in a lot of Black neighborhoods supported by Black people. So one thing that we love to try to make the vitriol like a two-way street, when a lot of times it's just a one-way street. Your restaurants and your stores and your this and your that, Black people have always pumped money into it. You can sit up here and say Black people might do this or do that or whatever. Black people have always pumped money into your businesses, and it has not been a even trade by far. So we can't sit up here and we can't continually blame Black people for the actual situation. Like I said, there's a significant amount of Asian Americans in this country that like that title, being considered the model minority, because it's an excuse for a lot of people that have prejudice and bias towards Black people. They say, well, you guys are just lazy. Y'all not trying. You've been here for X amount of years, and these people just got off the boat and they're running circles around you, which we know is a lie. It's a lie. And it's always been a lie, because the two things have never been even, and the histories behind the treatment of both people have never been anywhere remotely near the same whatsoever. Because we've had thriving, and I know people get tired of hearing this, but Black people built townships all throughout this nation, on the East Coast, in the South, in the Midwest, in the West. And if it's not being destroyed or torn down, it's been hit with eminent domain and everything else. So we can't sit here. We can't say that little Chinatown or little Tokyo City or any of this other stuff has it anywhere near this. So I get what the article is saying, and I support a significant amount of things. And then I'm sure that you have a wide variety of Asian groups. You have, of course, you have the Chinese, the Japanese, and then you also got the actual Philippines, the one that's really at the bottom of the barrel that they treat like trash. That I guess you could say in some senses they have at times decent relationships with Black people. But a lot of Asians don't consider them to be pure Asians either, because they do have a mixed ancestry over there in the Philippines with the Spaniards and stuff coming in there as well too. So a lot of them don't consider them to be true, quote unquote, Asians. They consider them to be a mixed group. So this is what we cracking on. This is what we hitting on tonight. I see my girl Brooke. She says we've supported too much. A king within says that they can run circles around us. Why don't they run? Why don't they run their homeland? Show it. I mean, we've always been a kind people, y'all. We've always been a kind people, no matter what people say like that. We've always, when we see other groups and we feel like the other groups have been mistreated, just from our experience in this country, I just think that, Black people naturally have a kinship with it, and people say, well, you know what, we've suffered and we've gone through this and that or whatever. And, we can find a kinship with these people as well, to know that they're not the same people as we are, but, they're people nonetheless. And, we can actually, we actually feel their pain. We can understand exactly what they're going through. So that's where we've always been at mentally in terms of this country right here. We've always tried to help people. And like I said, when people get in the positions to actually, reciprocate that, so you know what, them Black people, when we didn't have anything, they looked out for us. They helped out. Those Black people, I don't care what people say about them being animals and being this and being that or whatever, those Black people, because they buy our products and this and that, they help to put our kids through school. They help me to pay off my mortgage. They helped us get rights in this country that people did not want to give us before. Those people ain't the ones that's sitting up here doing this and doing that to us. Nobody ever says that. Your business is right in the heart of the black community, and nobody says anything. Now, I mean, but now you can't. Now, as a black person, you can't put your business in the heart of the Latino community, the Asian community, and these other communities, because then people go, "What are you doing here? Why you got your business here? Why don't you put it back in your side of town? You're not welcome here." So this is what we're talking about tonight. I see my man Original came up here as well too. Stephanie, I know when you get a chance, I know you probably working, but when you get a chance, Sweet Pea, definitely come up here and let me hear you. I see Rera, Black Majority State. So we got our people up in here, guys. Y'all go ahead and tweet the space out for me as well. And I definitely want to hear what Brother Original's got to say. And real quick, Original, for everybody that's on YouTube, guys, make sure you share tonight's broadcast. Share tonight's broadcast. Make sure you go ahead and like it. Click the notification bell because they're not sending out those notifications. Definitely go ahead and click the notification bell as well. Original, what's going on tonight?
Hey, peace, black power, and lineage-based reparations for us and only us, U.S. descendants of enslaved people. I'm looking at this, Newstoter, and I'm gonna call it out like this. This is nothing but a psyops or psychological campaign that the enemy continue to wage on us, and they use all other demographics. They dangling in their face that they will accept them as being one of them as long as you don't affiliate with them Negroes. Just like I told you, I have a relative he's a retired research and development engineer, and he worked with some Africans and Caribbeans, and they didn't like him. And when he started questioning them, they said that he said, "What did they tell y'all about us?" They told us to stay away from you Negroes. So this has been going on for quite some time. But when these people get in trouble now, they will run to us. That's why the small hats now, they are upset because we're not coming to their rescue. We're not supporting, what they're doing now. And it's not our issue. But I think that's what this is because, and as far as these schools and saying that that the Asians are so smart, let's not forget, there are several articles you can find online about how Asians are cheating on the SAT and other standardized tests. And I know that back in the 90s, what was happening was by this guy, he was an administrator of the SAT. And they kept watching these Asians, and they would see them. They would come in like packs. And each one would be required to remember a certain aspect of the test. So if they didn't do well on the test, they would compile this stuff together and study it and then come back and get a higher score on the SAT test. So when they figured this out, so what they started doing was no person in that who came to the examination, I think it was very few people that had the same test. So they had structured it a different way because the Asians were doing so much cheating, and and even when I was a child, people talked about how the Asians are so smart, they're this, they're that, da 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 da, and then when sometimes you get around them, you find that not to be true, and so I think that has to be looked at, and then you have how they say that they are the fastest growing demographic in America. So a lot of time when that happens, people think that, wow, man, they must be having all these babies and stuff. No, they're not having that many babies. They're being allowed to come here. And see, now what I'm seeing is that all these demographics, including the ones coming from Africa and everywhere else, they are coming here to undermine us as a group. Because since COVID hit, and I heard all these people talk about how the Africans and Caribbean were speaking so pejoratively about us in these social media spaces, it shows that the sentiment of what people around the world think about us because of the propaganda that America has continues to spread about us. And so I think that has to be factored into this because you know, and remember now when Jim Crow Joe, the anti-black racist segregationist, remember when he talked to them civil rights people on that Zoom call, and he told them he basically cursed them out and told them that they got to learn how to get along with the Hispanics. No, if you look at all these people, they never talk about doing anything for us. They come to us, and like you said, they would say, "Well, why are you all not doing well?" And they just got here yesterday. Well, if you didn't try to sabotage us when we go to get loans, you don't want to give us a loan. They come in, you give them whatever it is they want. And so then you turn around and ask us why we're not doing good. It's because of your benign neglect policies for us. That's why we're not doing well. So I think, we need to look at this a little differently because I just don't, I'm just not going to go along with them being this so-called model minority. And of course, they may say that they don't like that term, but they're eating it up because one thing that it does, it gives them the perception that at least they are better than us. And so I think we have to kind of, switch this around and making sure that that we don't allow this to affect us psychologically because that's what this is. This is part of their PSYOP program against us. See, if they can continue to make us feel that we are less than, that all these other people are doing so much better than we are, because if we were not doing so well, we wouldn't be under such attack. No other demographic comes under attack the way that we do. No other demographic get compared to others saying, why you're not doing what so-and-so is doing? So-and-so just got here yesterday. See, that's part of that psychological warfare that they continue to wage on us. And when we stop buying into it, I think it's not going to stop, but it may subside some. Because like I said, no other group has gone through what we've gone through. But then you look at it, if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Asian guy on the California Reparation Task Force, didn't he vote against cash payments, if I'm not mistaken? Do you remember that?
I'm not sure. I know they did have an Asian guy on the task force, but I'm not sure if he did or he didn't original.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he did vote against it. And so that, and see, we have to deal with that. Then plus, remember the black guy that was from the NAACP, he wrote a letter saying we didn't deserve anything. And see, there's a lot that we have to contend with that these other demographics, they don't have to contend with. But yet, then they always want to compare us to somebody else, and then they look at us from a pejorative standpoint, and then keep asking why we're not doing well. Just like when if people don't watch their children's education, especially the boys, by the 4th grade they start putting them in special ed. So there's a whole lot that we have to contend with that these other demographics don't. And to make that comparison with us, that's not fair. Because if they were giving us money, I mean, just like when they said during those PPP loans, I think it was a report that said black people paid bills and started businesses. And that's when people started, bringing up all these pejorative stuff about why this money is being given out because black people knew how to use that money. And not only that, there was like a growing number of black people found out that they could educate their own children instead of sending them to the killing field. They call school. So yeah, these Asians, they do a whole lot of talking and stuff, and they want to compare us to this, that, and whatever. But in the end, they're not any smarter than any other group. Because remember, Newstoter, I shared with you this young brother I met some years ago. He was doing summer school. We all know how fast summer school moves. But during summer school, he was taking chemistry, physics, calculus, and his easy course was political science. But the Asians and the whites, they were coming to him because they didn't know what they was doing in chemistry, physics, and calculus. Now, if they're supposed to be so smart, why were they going to a black student for help? So a lot of this stuff I just no longer buy into because I see it as nothing but a continuation of the warfare that has been waged on us to try to break us down, make us feel that we're less than nothing, and then to try to make us, well, we got to compete with, no. We just do what we have to do for ourselves, and we're going to move forward. And I'm going to land with that.
Before you land, original, I gotta ask you this here too. Just touching up on that first article I read about the Mississippi cops. They go by the name of the Goon Squad, and apparently over the years, all the actual just torturing and the abuse and everything else they've been doing to the actual residents of that city that's down in Mississippi. I just gonna have you speak on that real quick because you could imagine now we're talking about Mississippi of all places. Mississippi's never been shy by putting their Negroes in their place. So you could imagine if you got a set of crooked cops and they're so bold to call themselves the Goon Squad, you could just imagine, they just been running roughshod over everything, doing whatever you could imagine them doing, with no kind of, with no kind of filter to them whatsoever. So I can being here in Florida and Mississippi, I don't care. Mississippi, I know everybody thinks that their state is the most racist and this and that, whatever. But to me, Mississippi and Alabama always are going to be number one and number two. And there's some close ones up there with them as well, too. You got Louisiana and you got a bunch of states down here in the South and even up north in the Midwest as well, too. But those states, when you think about just the horror and the domestic terrorism that black people face in those areas from the time during slavery to Reconstruction, Jim Crow to even now, they still want to keep black people under their thumb. You could imagine this group of cops right here for years, just pretty much who knows how many bodies are buried out there, to be honest. Who knows? I mean, and they're just putting it mildly. I know that you just don't know exactly how much they've actually done because most people, like I say, if you're down in Mississippi and you know how these cops roll, most people are not going to say anything. Most people are not going to open their mouth because it's nothing for these cops to roll up on you and let you know exactly what time it is. So I was just going to have you touch up on that real quick as well, if you didn't mind.
Okay. Now forget which city is this taking place in?
It's in Rankin County. I'm not exactly sure which city that is. Okay. But I mean, hell, most of those cities in Mississippi pretty much all about the same, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're trying to. Well, see, the reason that they're doing that, because, see, there was an article, and I put it in the chat several months ago, and it talked about Mississippi. It said that Mississippi had a growing, black population, but they wasn't gaining any power. Just like how you have Jackson, Mississippi, it's like, 80% black. But the white folks from the governor and the state legislature, they want to enact their control over that city. And so that's what, and I heard a report that said that they are trying to steal all the money that's coming through for them to repair their water system. And so this is not, again, this is part of that, I would say this is a continuation of that psychological warfare that they have been waging on them. Because, see, remember, back in the days, you had a lot of black people. They were terrified of the police, especially in Mississippi. Look at what our beautiful Queen sister Fannie Lou Hamer went through. When she started registering people to vote, that guy, she was living on a plantation, and he told her that either you stop or you got to leave. And sister, she left, but she found assistance from somebody else. And so this is what this is right here. They want to think they can invoke fear in us, and I just think that we just gonna have to stand up. Whether we go to jail or what, we're gonna have to start fighting back, because it's obvious they're not going to quit. And they think they have free reign to do whatever they want to do with us. And until they see that that's not the case, they're going to continue that. Because that's the same thing that's going on in Jackson, Mississippi with the white folks wanting to control everything. I mean, whether it's Georgia or whatever, one thing I keep telling people, there are no good white people in this universe. And if there's a universe outside of this one and there are white people there, they're not good either. Good and white people should never be used together because it doesn't belong together. And so that's what I would say, man, because these people, they know they've done this and they're going to continue to do it. But see, one of our main issues is we don't have anybody fighting on our behalf. The NAACP is a joke. Al Sharpton is basically an agent working for the opposition against us. You know, so we haven't formulated anything, you know, regarding protection for ourselves. And until we understand that it is going to be up to us to protect ourselves, this will continue. And that's what they understand. They understand that, you know, there are some of us just like, and it was in Mississippi too. See, we got a lot of work to do. Remember I shared with you about this a documentary called Spies of Mississippi. You might be able to find it on one of these streaming services. But what was going on was during the civil rights movement, when they was, you know, strategizing and stuff, there was this one black guy they found out after they released all this information, like what, 40 years later, 40 or 50 years later, they saw that a list was being given to the white people. And so everybody's name who was at the meeting was on the list, except for this one person. And he swore up and down that he wasn't a spy. But see, when we know that people have been working against, when we know for certain that people have been working against our best interests. See, my issue is this. We're going to have to burn the house down. They don't have to be in it, but just burn the house down, put sand or sugar in the gas tank, tear the cars up, because people are doing this with impunity. They're working against our best interests by supporting our enemy. And this right here is what I would even bet you there's somewhere in Mississippi that there may be a black person working with this Goon squad. And they use that name because they want to show how bold they are and how they can do whatever they want to do and that we can't do anything about it. Because I was looking at something that was on Mississippi and some guy had moved from, I think it was Chicago, back to Mississippi. See, I think the issue is they want us to believe that, oh, you don't want to go to Mississippi. See, Jackson is already 80% black. But if more black people start moving there, that's going to make them very restless. It's going to make them nervous because, see, they know that the people that move there don't have that same mindset of some of those who live there. They know that they will stand up and fight and do whatever they got to do to get their foot off their neck. And I think that is why these situations keep happening. It is to scare black people away from Mississippi. And so if you got people in Mississippi, if you have enough, like Black Majority says, they can start running things and move these people up out of the way. And so that's how I see it. That this is continuation of psychological warfare on us, and it's going to continue until we give a firm response. But it has to come from us because these other so-called civil rights groups, they're dysfunctional and debunked, and they don't have any power. So it has to come from us, and that's just how I see it, and I'll land with that.
Thank you, Original. I appreciate that. I see we got a girl Trouble up here. Trouble, what's going on tonight?
Hey, Newstoter, what's good with everybody in the room tonight? Hope everybody's feeling well. So I was looking at when you asked what town this was in. I believe it's in downtown Brandon, an area called Brandon, Mississippi. And so that's where it's located at. I've never heard of that that location, but I've never heard of a lot of locations in Mississippi. So there's that. I think it's about time that we all start waking up across the board, because this isn't a one-off type situation. I'm looking at the fellows' pictures who are a part of the Goon squad, and they only have 6 of them. But let's cut the foolishness out. There's more than 6. These are just the 6 that got caught, because anytime you got the front man, there's always the middle man, and there's the back man too. So there's a lot of other people that probably should be sitting where these guys are at. I'm looking at their pictures. Some of them are relatively, I wouldn't say young, but for this to have been going on decades, and now what they know of or what they're reporting on is decades. Was these guys on the actual force decades, and who did they get this idea from? So this is something in my mind that has been going on longer than just a couple of decades. This has been going on for forever. It's just been passed down. I think when I was reading a report before, they was like the last chief that they had went on, and he's getting ready to be elected to some other type of office, some higher office, within Mississippi. And that's pretty much how it rolls. One thing that I take away from all of these, because I look at the experiences that I had with cops in my town, in my city growing up, and this was in the Midwest. And I'm starting to realize that, we keep trying to make it seem like, okay, well, Mississippi is racist, and everybody knows Mississippi is racist. When you talk about all of these states across the United States, they all racist. They're just racist in a different way. Like, from me living here in the South, I'm realizing certain times the racism is more blatant, more, mugs in the South. They let you know, I don't like the niggers around here, you don't, they quick to let you know. Whereas growing up in the Midwest, in Kansas, it was more of like, oh, you silly little nigger, you're such a nigger. It's different, but it's the same, So in Mississippi, they can get away with this because it's blatant like this. Us as a people, we've been speaking up on this for so long, but we're speaking to each other. We're not actually doing a whole lot about it. We're not rallying against it. We're just sort of kind of soft taking it because to a degree we don't know what to do, or we don't feel like we have that backing. And so we aren't with the people. We don't really stand behind the people who will say enough is enough, and it's about time that we get to that place where enough is enough. I grew up watching cops, and everybody in my town knew that, that one cop we called Dirty Harry would climb on top of the dope house, and he would bust your dope house, and him and his squad would roll in your house and throw guns up on you, beat you down, take your drugs, take your money, and then give you a ticket. Might take you to jail for a night on a lesser charge as long as you keep about that ass whooping and all the drugs kept. And rinse and repeat another couple of months, and he come back and bust you again because you didn't have, you wasn't smart enough to move your trap house somewhere else. Everybody knew that he would pull you over because he pulled my mother over a couple of times. What he been? He went in the glove, opened up the glove, took her gun, took her head in there, he smoked it in her face, gave her a ticket, told her to keep it moving. He did that on more than one occasion because Mama kept her a gun. She was mad about it too because he got 2 of her good guns. But she got the ticket and got to keep it moving. Everybody knew what was going on in town. Everybody. He's the captain now. He might be chief. Last time I heard, about 5 years ago, he was captain. So we have these stories. We know what goes on, but nothing systemically has ever been done because we're only talking about it amongst ourselves. We're not actually willing to do anything about it. And it's like, to me, I used to sit back and think to myself, how come one of these so-called, Negroes in the hood that everybody act like it's so hard, how come one of them ain't took him out yet? And I'm sorry to feel that way, but that's how I used to feel. Like, why he still breathing? How come ain't nobody rolled up on him? Like, if we too scared to roll up on them, like they quick to roll up on us, we got to get to that place. I'm sorry. And maybe other people don't feel that way. Maybe we still, trying to figure a way how to do this, in a non-violent way. I'm not non-violent. I'm just not. I just don't feel like there's nothing that should be taken off of the table when it comes to our survival, when it comes to us getting the justice that we need for ourselves, because it's clear as day that nobody else is going to give us that justice because they're so used to taking it, and we're so used to taking it too. We just feel like, what are we waiting on? It's like we're waiting on some invisible somebody to come and make these things happen for us. And we're seeing that nobody is coming to our rescue. We are the only ones who are going to help. And until we are collectively ready to help, we're going to forever be in these positions where the goon squads can run ramshot on one town, on multiple towns, where Negroes is getting waterboarded and beaten to a confession of a crime that they didn't commit, doing time that they don't have any business doing, because we're not standing up for each other. We not, we not like in the movie Rosewood where, the mentally handicapped boy said, "Hey, big baby ready to shoot. Big baby gonna shoot. Big baby, we gotta be ready to shoot. We gotta be ready to do whatever it takes to cover ourselves by any means necessary." Nothing is off the table. We watched this one time too many. It got to a point in my hometown to where when the gangs started rising, they got tired of the cops rolling into our communities doing the things that they was doing. When the gangs got tired of that foolishness, we had a DA. Her name was Nola Folston at the time, I remember. And she had came up with this thing where she wanted the cops to come and harass the neighborhoods that had gangs by sitting police inside of our neighborhoods. Well, I lived in a Crip neighborhood and the boys wasn't having it. As soon as them cops came up and tried to post up and harassing them boys was blasting on them. As soon as they came around, they couldn't even come in the area and they started blasting on them. Why? Because we started getting gang members coming out of Texas. We started getting gang members coming from out of Oklahoma. And it got wild for a minute. Why? Because they were tired of people being arrested. And when you look on the news is saying, well, this young man, so-and-so is part of such and such gang, and everybody knew that person was not only not a part of that gang because he wasn't a gangbanger, but he didn't do what y'all said he did. How many times have we watched that happen? But we're talking about it amongst ourselves, but we're not doing anything about it because we don't know what to do. Why don't we not know what to do? Where's the people that's supposed to be backing this up? And as far as like Original was saying, as far as our black organizations like the NAACP and all of those organizations of the past, that's in the past, it's dead gone. Stick a fork in it. We are in a new age now, and we need to formulate new organizations, new fresh organizations from a fresh perspective, with fresh eyes, with fresh blood, with fresh intentions, with fresh money. And yes, fresh money, because it's going to take money to fund these organizations that we need to do what it is that we need them to do, because the ones of the past are compromised. They done took the bag from too many other corporations and entities to have our interest at heart. They have filled their organizations with people who don't look like us, and some people who look like us but that are not us and don't have the same interests as us, and their interests are the same as others who are against us. So why do we think that these organizations are going to come to our rescue? They are not. They're not. They might say some things to sound good, and that's performative. That performative stuff that we see from the Democrats around election time, where they put on some kufi or some African gear and throw a French fry. It's symbolism. We don't need that anymore. We recognize that. That doesn't get us excited anymore, as well it shouldn't. So we gotta start doing things differently across the board. But until we get it in our minds that we are worthy of protection, we are worthy to be able to live and breathe the next day and not have to live up under these conditions, not have to see our people go through the things that they continually to go through, the things that our ancestors went through. Man, goddamn, they keep talking about how we done moved so far into the future. Oh, we've come a long way. How, Sway? How? It's the illusion of inclusion. people still going through things like our ancestors was. They just doing it a little bit different, but yet it's the same. It just, you ain't hanging them from trees no more, but you still hanging them from trees. You still hanging them figuratively. You may not be able to do it literally no more. And then some areas, they still literally hanging Negro from trees. But it's called a suicide in today's language. So we just got to be willing to move. And as I always say, and I'll go ahead and land it on that, I'll say the same thing I said in the last couple of spaces. What are you willing to do? What is your next move? What is our next move? When we going to start talking, stop talking and start moving. And I don't mean that we got to stop talking maybe on this app because, this is just COINTELPRO Part 2 if we're going to wake it all the way up. Because we need to get in, like my son keeps saying around here, I don't know where he got that from, we need to touch grass. We got to touch grass with each other. Get in the house with each other. And start figuring out, if that boy say that to me total one more time, he touch grass. Like, well, what you know about touching grass? How about you go rake the grass? Got 3 rakes and they ain't been used yet. So we got to ask ourselves, when are we willing to move? And how important is it to us to be able to move out of the positions that our people keep finding themselves in? Because I'm tired of hearing about all of these cases. And as far as them Asians being model minorities, that's another 52 fake out. Media gets to promote or whoever they want to promote, and it's always in reference to making the American Negro feel as if we are inferior to everyone, everybody. We all know that they cheat. We all know that they get handouts and different funds that we get so that they can put their kids into different tutoring type of programs, so it's not a matter of being smarter when you have different resources that your community has easily, can easily access, access to than what we have. There's always going to be a little lag. But when I'm looking at the kids in my schools where I live, and I'm seeing my babies graduate, and I'm listening to them call other people's in the community's babies to the stage, and I'm listening to how many of them have not only completed their high school courses, but was taking college courses while they was in high school, who was leaving high school with a partial associate's degree, and they participated in more than 1 or 2 programs while in high school. Where the hell are they getting their numbers from? How the hell are they saying anybody's students are smarter than ours when I'm watching how hard our students are working? When I'm watching the accolades that they're able to get and the things that they're able to do, but they put it out in the media, they put it out on these programs, and they keep trying to make us feel inferior when we're not. We're not. That's just the narrative that they want to float because that's what they want to float. But we know the truth. And I'll land my plane. Thanks for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Trouble. I appreciate that. And you were on point on so many different topics as well, too. I see No Taxation's up in the space as well. So shout out to her. And you touch up on everything right about the actual the situation in Mississippi with the Goon Squad. My thing here is too, like you said, this has been going on for years. Who knows how long this has been going on for? I mean, let's be for real. It's been going on since Reconstruction, since they formed the actual police department in Mississippi. So there's no telling, and I said this earlier in the space, there's no telling how many bodies might be out there. Just keeping it real. There's no telling how many people may be buried out there in some of those wooded areas of Mississippi with some of these crooked cops out there. You just really don't know. It wouldn't be surprising. And let's be honest, it wouldn't be the first time that they took somebody out there in the woods and put them out their misery. So I wouldn't be the least bit surprised at all. They're talking about the abuse and this and that and everything else going on as well too. But they done put the fear of God in a lot of those people that live down there as well in Mississippi. Real quick, guys, Up in the Jumbotron, we got the YouTube channel. For anybody that has not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please definitely go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Guys, make sure y'all visit newstoter.com daily. The actual topics for the night, once again, they come directly off the actual website. So you wonder some of these spaces we have, the actual topics are actually coming 95 to 98% of them definitely are coming straight off the actual site. So this is where a lot of the talking points come from, the information, the content as well, too. So definitely support newstoter.com. Visit newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news in Black America, whether it's lifestyle, culture, education, business, entertainment, whatever. It's on the site. Definitely go visit us, and it'll keep you informed. It'll connect you to the top-notch Black websites. This article tonight about the Asians being the model minority. This is from the Sacramento Observer. The other one's from Chicago Defender. So definitely go ahead and visit and get yourself used to going on the website, and you can find content that is definitely informative and interesting as well, too. For those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If anybody that does not have Cash App, we have the PayPal and Venmo up in the actual Jumbotron. For my people that's over there on YouTube, guys, we have the actual PayPal and Venmo up in the description. Also, we have the little, if you want to super chat or you want to send one of the stickers or whatever, the chat stickers, that's also available as well, too. We definitely need that support as a Black business. We definitely need that support. Like Trouble, she made a great point that it's going to cost dollars and stuff like that as well, too, to go ahead and do some of the stuff we're talking about. And it definitely takes dollars to keep things running. So for those that can, and if you got $1 that you can support the actual platform with, definitely think about doing that. Probably towards late December, going into January, we're going to also start. We're going to start trying to build a community up on Newstoter as well, too. For those that want it, we're going to have memberships as cheap as $1.30 a month. Reoccurring $1, anywhere from $1 all the way up to $4, $5. So we're going to definitely try to make it as cheap as possible for anybody that just wants to contribute to the become an actual member of Newstoter. We're going to have it where it's going to be paid. If you want to become a member, all you got to do is have a PayPal account, and you can just go ahead and for as little as $1.30, we're going to go ahead and start trying to get people to support us that way. That way, if you want to go to the site, you want to leave comments on any of the articles, you want to give a thumb up to one, a thumb down or whatever, give it a 5-star rating. Also, we're going to try to create a little community, have a little community section over there for those that want to come and, have it where you can actually speak what you want to speak without worrying about being censored, as long as you, of course, not being violent towards anybody like that. Have an issue with that. So we're trying to have a uncensored community where our people can get together and share their thoughts without being banned and suspended like they are on these social media sites. So we got my girl Stephanie up here. Stephanie, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Newstoter. It's my last day, so I'm enjoying every minute of it. Salute to the chat. I didn't know what to say hearing these stories, but it's no surprise about Mississippi. I still consider that a sundown state, as well as Alabama and all these other places. It's just that it's the old New South. Okay, it still has that old South tendencies, even though they say that racism is a thing in the past and we're in 2023 and this is a post-racist society. But each and every day we are proving that it's actually false. Okay, and it makes me think about how could a town like Jackson, Mississippi be 80% of Black population, but white conservatives want to control the actual town and the resources. It makes me think about the time that the Black mayor, I forgot his name and I forgot the state, and please correct me, where he ran unchallenged in one of these states and he won. And mind you, this is an 80% Black town, and the people that controlled the town were white, and they refused to even let him through the door. They refused to let him run and everything. And this was just, a few months ago? And it's 2 years that has passed and nobody is doing anything about it. It's, I think a lot of this need to be federally investigated, even though a lot of them align with white supremacy also, but still take the initiative to investigate it, to see the to get it together. It made me think about, it was a story that my mother's ex-boyfriend had told me. And this was back in, I want to say the 50s or the 60s. It's somewhere in those two time periods. And he said that his first time going down south was in that, around that time. And he went with two white lawyers. And he said, whatever town this was in, he said he seen a black woman. That wherever she was at, she was going to fetch a pail of water. Young black girl. And it was a pickup truck with white men in it. And the white men stopped by. They stopped the truck. They all jumped out and they grabbed her. She tried to get away. They threw her in the back of a pickup truck and they all took turns raping this young girl. And he said he was so angry. And the two white guys that was with him said, don't say anything or you'll get killed. We'll all be killed. And he said he was so angry and so confused because he didn't know what to do or anything or how to react. All he knew was that he was angry and he wanted to try to break it up. Well, after they finished raping that girl, okay, they stopped they pulled these guys over and they made them get out the car. I mean, whatever car they was in. And they wanted to know who was this guy, the black guy. And they said, oh, he's with us. We're lawyers. We're from New York or whatever. And they had a jug of moonshine and they wanted him to drink from that jug and he refused. And they told him, the two guys he was with said, listen, if you don't drink from this jug, they'll kill all three of us. And he said that he drank from it. He took a small swig from it and they patting him on the head and saying, oh, you a good nigga. You a good nigga. Like that. And all of this after they raped this girl. So, he said he was just overcome with so much emotion that he didn't know how to respond to that. Next thing about the Asian model minority. If this is the one thing that proved to us time and time again, is that we don't have any friends in allyship in any of these other groups of people. They have time and time again used our struggle. They will often call on the black community to come to their rescue or come to their aid. We have spent 90% of our dollars in a lot of these businesses, paying for cello lessons and violin lessons and harp lessons, chess lessons, and whatever kind of classes that these people have been taking. And they always surpass us. Not saying that they do it, they do it, but, we help them. And they just take and kick the ladder when we try to elevate and advance. It's bad enough that a lot of these people are profiting off of our culture. They're in our sororities. They're in our fraternities. These people were the same group of people that used the same Civil Rights Act to dismantle affirmative action in UCLA, only to turn around and use the very same Civil Rights Act because they were facing discrimination afterwards. Okay, they're often associated with a lot of cheating scandals. Okay, and I'm not saying all, I'm just saying a particular few. So they even protested that they wanted to have the right to cheat, and they didn't see anything wrong with it. I have a problem with that because you have a black person, on the other hand, that's breaking his neck to study to get good grades, and yet we're still called the N-word. We're still called ignorant, illiterate, stupid. Our grammar is poor, everything. So, only to turn around and just say, hey, we need your help. We need your help. Number one, they're being discriminated in the tech world. Okay, they're crying about that now. We're being discriminated against because we only see Indians they're 80% of the majority in tech, but yet the people that are in tech companies that's the head of and CEOs are white. So they're crying about that now. Now that they see that affirmative action has been dismantled, now they're sitting up here crying and saying, hey, maybe, and they're still being discriminated against in a lot of these universities. It's telling me that you guys are not as smart as you think you are. And it only blew right up in your face. So you literally cut off the nose despite the face, and it backfired and blew up in yours. So I'm not mad. I'm just sitting back and I'm laughing. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate that. So we got DJ up in the space, but I'm not sure if DJ's actually physically up in the space. So shout out to him as well. I see my girl Rella's up in here as well. Okay, I see DJ just accepted the co-host, so might be up in here. What's up, man? You up in the space? Okay, well, he may not I don't know if he heard me or not, but shout out to him as well. What's up, Rella? I see you up in here throwing a fist pump up as well too. I know if you get a chance to speak, you'll come up here. If not, that's cool. I know you may be busy getting in your work and whatnot. Shout out to everybody up in here, man. We just been talking about the whole model minority thing, as well as trouble and Stephanie definitely gave some nice examples, and so did Original as well too, about the situation down there with the Goon squad in Mississippi. I mean, guys really were on point as well too. So I definitely thoroughly enjoy hearing you guys give such detailed statements on just exactly how you felt about that as well too. So shout out to you as well. And we were out yesterday. We didn't have a space, so definitely want to come back tonight and have a pretty decent space, a pretty decent conversation. The last one was a pretty good space as well too. So we got Rella with her hand up. I'm gonna get to you, Original. Let me go ahead and get to Rella. Rella, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter. Hey, everybody. Shout out to the space. It's kind of, I don't know, there's a lag, so it was taking its time. Shout out to all of the descendants all up in the space. So good to see you guys. The Asian Americans are classified as a model minority. But when you look at I think the things that they do in regards to them, colonizing, doing the same thing as other ethnicities do in regards to looking out for their own and building their own. They're doing things that they're supposed to do. The problem is our American government has allowed them to displace and commit genocide on I think, intellectual level as well as a social level and an educational level. None of those students that Stephanie was mentioning, those universities where the students were caught cheating, did they make it a mandatory thing that across the board, particular groups of people will not gain entrance if they are caught cheating, and they will be, reserved from the universities. I think we have a harder job when it comes to entrance into universities, whether affirmative action or not, because, again, we're not the majority deans or majority faculty staff that does the hiring for professors or the entrance exams for, I think, the applications that are coming in to the universities, whether it's HBCU or PWIs. So we have to look at that aspect, which is why I think, again, I always link back to Black majority state in regards to being the majority authority in all that we do. I've had my run in, even in the beauty industry, when as I was trying to rebuild my own business, going into nail shops and saying, hey, I want to work in here, right? Because there is a even exchange of goods and services where I have a license, I can provide a service. They don't even want to hire Black people. but they will allow you to come in and be a customer. But the cities that they have majority of their businesses, that they make majority of their money in, are Black areas where we spend our money, right? They thrive. But we have to also take accountability in that aspect for allowing the people who are our officials, our local, state, and federal representatives to allow us to be, forcing us to be displaced on so many levels, economics and education. You know, it's crazy how they will classify sanctuary cities, but then turn around and say, hey, we need initiatives to help with reading and writing in our community, but they don't provide any resources towards our children for reading and writing or for developing businesses. They're all classified under minority, where all of these groups come into the country and they begin to be the majority, but yet they get the classification of the minority, and they still are given resources that we can't even get. So I don't feel bad about them in the affirmative action. I'm glad that it's blowing up in their faces, and I hope it continues to blow up in their faces, because all these cultures want to do is they want power. They want to lord over one another. They have barbaric behaviors, and they want to use those behaviors to ward over each other. And you can tell by the way they treat each other. I was in Costco's, and I noticed how even they walk around like a third world, like this is a third world country. They don't say, excuse me. They'll try to run you over. I mean, this is how they treat each other, whether it's whatever groups of Asians or whatever groups, particular ethnicities of Asians or other groups of ethnicities. They have no sense of moral decorum. That does not exist to them. That's why the white people act the same way. They don't have no manners, none of it. And then when you say something to them, they looking at you like you crazy for saying, excuse me, thank you, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, because we were raised to be respectful and loving. We don't get that with them. It's so crazy. I was delivering an Instacart order, and I had 5 cases of water, and these 2 guys, Mormon guys, walked up. I was like, how am I going to get these damn cases of water out this car? And they walked up, and they were like, hey, can we talk to you about, about the goodness of God? I said, yeah, you want to grab a case of water? See, I'm not in the business of being conditioned under someone else's regime or belief. But I will use you for the benefit of my glory and God's glory, because that's what we should have been doing in the first place. The same thing that they're doing to us, we should have been doing to them. We should have been doing to them, because they don't know anything else. And they don't care about anything else. They just want to either indoctrinate you with their religion. They want to indoctrinate you under their way of thinking. And then they think that they've gotten you. It should have been flipped all the way around. And I think that our ancestors would have done that had not been genocided out over and over again. Every time they tried to build something, they were genocided out. The moment they tried to get an ounce of authority. And I think we have the ability to do it now, because we now know better. We have more access. The internet is allowing us to communicate quicker. Information is getting to each other quicker, and they don't like that. That's why they were threatening to shut down the internet. Y'all remember that? The government was having a discussion. I think it was Warren out here in Virginia, where I'm at. They were talking about how they wanted to shut the internet down or find ways to restrict social access, because too much information was getting around fast, and they were saying, all of it is not correct information. That may be, but apparently something must be right if you want to go after shutting down access to communication for us. So I'll land there. I know that was a lot. I'm sorry I had to get that off my chest, but it is a shame, the conditions and things that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But again, these are our experiences, and they need to be told.
All right. Thank you, Miss Rella. I know you did the Instacart as well too. So shout out to you on that aspect as well. Go ahead and get to original. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, I just want to respond to something that Stephanie said. Now, see, when she said the guy, the black guy was with some white attorneys, and they told him he had to be quiet because they would kill all three of them. See, that lets me know that people, white and others, they know what is happening to us. And when she talked about the effect that it had on his psyche, because he had he didn't have any weapons with him, so he had no way to help this child. But they took her and they raped her. It's just like how when black people have been saying for centuries, how the police was treating them. And see, but the propaganda that they had for the police is that they can be trusted, that they don't lie, and blah, blah, blah. But when the advent of the camera phone on our cell phone start recording this stuff, they were still trying to lie and find a way to wiggle out of this truth coming out. And see, this is another reason why what Rella said about how they want to say that what you get on social media isn't true when the so-called regular media lie to you every day. So it's not like people don't know. Everybody knows what's happening to us, but they're being quiet because they want to be accepted by the dominant society. And so this is why we are going to have to solve this ourselves. And when people start understanding, when you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us, this will stop. Because as long as we allow them to do this, they get a slap on the wrist, they go home and sit in their chair or go to their clan meeting or whatever, and they continue to do what they do. And until we start giving them the same energy that they're giving us, this will continue. It will. Because I can imagine how that brother felt when he saw this go down, and the people that he was with basically they basically were not his friend or associates, because to say all they was concerned with was getting themselves out alive. That was it. They wasn't concerned about the welfare of their child. Nothing. And if they had to, they would have given him up. Because what are they telling? You got to drink this or they're going to kill all of us. They weren't concerned about him. They were only concerned about themselves. This is insane. And so this is why it is going to take us to get these people off our backs. As they were saying before, there is nobody or some invisible deity or anything that's come to save us. It has to be us. And until we get up and start giving them the same energy they're giving us, this is going to be passed down to the children coming behind us. And so that's why, when I heard that, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. These people, they're not this man's friend. I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong with this picture here. And this is why it is good when you travel out of state, travel strap. And I'll lean with that.
All right, thank you, Original. You've been on fire today. Let me give a shout out to my man Cognitive as well too. I don't even see Cognitive up in the space, but shout out to you, Cognitive. Thank you for the donation on Cash App as well, guys. I know this is only the second space this week that we've actually done. So I know it's not the usual 4 spaces, but shout out to everybody still coming up in here. Haven't actually recorded any spaces this week either. Everything is just going ahead and letting it go straight to actually YouTube. We'll probably start back maybe recording. I just want to see exactly how things would be. The first day was done by accident, but this one here I didn't record it on purpose. So I just want to see exactly how things would actually be without recording the spaces, because every space we always record it. So I said, well, let me go ahead and try to go ahead and do it without actually recording the actual space as well too. So just a shout out to everybody up in the space as well too, guys. DJ, I'm trying to bring you up, but I don't know what happened, but Okay, now I see you. But we definitely and I see my girl let me see if she's still up in the space. Just case I saw you. I know you gave me a shout out on YouTube earlier, so shout out to you, sister. I see you down there towards the bottom of the screen. Love, I am. What's going on with you as well too? So guys, definitely feel free because we've had some good speakers tonight. With original, of course, as always, setting it off, and then we had Trouble come up here. Also, Rella, Stephanie as well too. So definitely glad to hear from the family as well too. We're just touching up on this topic about Asian Americans and the actual Goon Squad. I know lately, and one thing you can say about the model minority treatment, we see when at the time when you had the actual the whole situation with the pandemic when it took place, and we saw some of the treatment. Now everybody talks about they talk about the actual amount of hate crimes that went up against Asian Americans. And I have no issue with anybody speaking about that because we definitely don't preach, committing hate crimes towards anybody. So, I definitely look down on that. But, it wasn't shortly afterwards that you had the actual the anti-Asian hate bill. And I know people say, well, it wasn't. Well, whether they title it that or not in the actual wording and everything, that's pretty much what they were speaking about as well, too. So they went ahead and they identified certain issues that were going on with Asian people, and the United States government looked to try to remedy it. They didn't waste any time. They went ahead. Now, the whole time, we as Black people, we've been actually waiting on things as well, too, because year after year after year, every year that they've been collecting actual hate crimes, Black people have been the ones that have been targeted the most. And I'm seeing now, I see sometimes on TV, I'm seeing the actual, the anti-Semitic hate crimes and anti-Jewish hate crimes they show on TV. They show the percent and the number and the rise of it. Of course, with the situation with the Asians, you constantly saw that on TV. The how Asian hate crime went up and this and that or whatever. But the funny thing is that you never see the same commercials about Black people on TV. And like I say, year in and year out, they're the ones. And if you add up the next 2-3 groups, that's what it would take to actually equal the actual hate crimes committed against Black people. And you never, ever, ever see actual commercials talking about that, talking about, oh yeah, the amount of hate crimes against Black people increased 500-fold this year and this and that. You never see that. And you always wonder why you never see that. But you never see it because certain things like this whole thing with the actual model minority, it's a way of kind of washing your hands. And unfortunately, a lot of white Americans in this country wash their hands on the whole racism issue because that thing is like, well, if they can do it, then you can do it. If they're not complaining, you guys complain the most and this and that or whatever. They don't complain. They just work hard. They just get to the grind. They put their nose at things and they just push forward. Why are you guys still complaining and this and that or whatever? And you just see how unfair everything is. But of course, that's the way it's set up. That's the way it's supposed to be. Because at any time, these, and I saw something the other day. I don't know if that was online, that was on the news or whatever, but it was a gang of, I don't know where the hell it came from. It was a gang of actual Asian immigrants, like on foot coming to the United States. Like I forgot if they were coming through the Mexican border or whatever, but wherever they were, it was a gang of them actually coming. And you think about that, and that's something that doesn't get mentioned either. Like when people think about, illegal immigrants coming into the country, sneaking into the country, first thing you think is Mexicans or Latinos, or you think about Haitians. But it was a gang of Asian immigrants coming into the actual country, and I'm like, well, damn. I don't ever really remember seeing Asians on foot coming to the United States. I'm telling you, I'm sorry, I can't remember what.
Specifically, bro, Chinese specifically. There you go.
They're like, where the hell he was coming from? Like
China.
Okay, so where did they get dropped off from China at? They had to get dropped off somewhere.
Hold on a minute, because I can't speak for only for a second. Those ain't migrants, bro. Those are the millionaire Chinese people that are fleeing China and Hong Kong. Go ahead, though, Roland.
Yeah, and they're being actually flown into Mexico. There was I'm gonna see if I can find it. I'm not sure if DJ has time to pull it up and play the clip, but they were talking about it on the news. They're being flown down into Mexico, and then they're having them walk across the border. These people got suitcases. They're clean. They're not coming in
Super
like
clean.
right. They're clean. So I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know if these are people that are coming in and they're part of maybe the military, Chinese military or an Asian military, or if they're people that are coming in because they're trying to, again, get visas and stuff like that from people that are already here. But these people are being flown into Mexico and they're pushing them, they're having them travel across the border. It was on the news. And I couldn't believe it because you're looking at them lined up. They're lined up like they've already been in Mexico. That's how they had them lined up.
Yeah.
And the Indians are doing it, the other Asians, but the Indians are doing it, the Brahmin Indians, other type of groups from different areas, like in Pakistan, different countries, they're all coming in through the southern border. I think somebody even mentioned some places in Canada they're coming through. So when I'm telling you that this is an invasion, That's why I do believe that we just had that house blow up here in Arlington, and that guy was Asian, and apparently they were already looking at him or whatever because he was already on LinkedIn talking crazy on LinkedIn, and trying to befriend people off of LinkedIn and stuff, and he was claiming that his neighbors were spies, but yet they blew it down. The whole house was blown up, and some people are like, they were talking about, well, maybe we don't put too much into it, and that he probably just had a mental issue. No. I believe that there were they are spying here. That's why we had them blow up the blimp. But I do believe that they're trying to cover their tracks because they're letting these people in, and the government knows about it. Trustably, the government knows about it. Why they're allowing it to happen is, I do believe, because there's an influence, again, with these connections with foreign nationals and foreign entities who have bought land, buying up land, buying houses, buying real estate to try to capture the United States. This is not a game. These people are trying to capture the most powerful country when it comes to weaponry and military. All of these different countries, that all they want is power. That's it. That's it. They don't want that fucking country, excuse my language. They don't want black people to have nothing, that they're willing to give our damn country over to foreigners. That's how bad this shit is.
Yeah, I saw that the other day, and I was like, I was flabbergasted. I'm like, I've never seen, on foot. I've never seen a bunch of Asians coming through the damn border. I'm like, what? Like, how was this even possible? And I'm glad y'all saw that because, and I don't know who posted that story, or whatever, but they're not talking about it a whole lot on mainstream media as well either. That I mean, you saw. I guess you heard maybe a reference to it here or there, whatever, but they're not really talking about that much. So I'm just figuring, I'm like, yo, where are all of these Asians? I mean, because I'm used to, like, if it's an Asian person, I'm used to them coming through a port or something like that. No, they're on foot coming through Mexico. Now, did the Asians get the same kind of treatment that them Haitians got, a year or two ago? No, they absolutely didn't. I'm just a little bit, and like you said, and Rella said that you got different groups of Asians coming. You got Indians, East Indians, and you got the DJ said Chinese and stuff like that. So it's got to be other groups, and you got to have money if you're flying in from China to Mexico, and then you're gonna foot it across the damn border right there. Yeah, this is pretty bold right here. This is pretty bold. I've even heard people say that and I don't know how true this is, but I even heard people were saying by a certain year or something that you're gonna have more Asians in the country than actual black people. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't see that actual stat, but at this point in time, it's supposed to be 19.9 million Asians in the actual country. And here's the crazy thing about Asian. I mean, they took that continent and they just started. Because I don't know if an East Indian, you got East Indians and then you got the Orientals and they're all Asians and stuff. I don't know how fat it is or whatever, but either way, they've consolidated these groups and made them all one Asian group or whatever. So that's a lot of people, and if things keep going the way they're going, then yeah, I can maybe see in 30, 40 years if because they're not gonna let say what y'all want to about black immigrants. They're not gonna let black immigrants come in the country like that. They're not gonna let you catch a plane and then go through Mexico and sneak up in here and come up in. The next thing you hear, whatever. I had heard stories before about when we did that space on Anchor Baby and stuff like that. They and matter of fact, in that actual article, they actually mentioned that as well too. That not only that, but you had a number of Asian women coming over here pregnant and stuff and having babies and stuff in the actual country as well too, so they could stay over here as well too. So this is just this is just wild right here. This story right here. This is wild. Like I say, I saw that the other day and I said, damn, I'm like, if this was a bunch of whoever from Venezuelans or whatever, this would be a lot of major media outlets would be picking it up. But the fact that these are actual Asians and it's really, really just kind of been like kind of hush, nobody's really said much about it, kind of lets you know that, yeah, maybe that whole model minority thing that they're talking about, maybe the favoritism, hey, it's real. It is actually really, really real here. Stephanie, go ahead real quick. And anybody else that wants to speak to my girl Stephanie up here, if Original Trouble, if y'all want to speak again, no taxation, Black Majority State, RERA, any of y'all want to speak, just go ahead and put your hands up, request the microphone. Like I say, for those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. We definitely need any little amount that we can get. We've only did one other space this week, so I think the actual donation from Congress was the only donation we got this week. So we definitely need any amount that you guys can contribute would be greatly appreciated. Go ahead, Stephanie, unmute your mic.
I just wanted to say that DJ is absolutely correct. They've had baby houses, baby factories in Florida, and I want to say San Francisco. I think they would come in at 8 or 9 months pregnant, like probably a week or two away from giving birth, and they would stay in these houses. Now, a lot of them, they actually pay up to, I think, $25,000 to stay in these houses and have those babies. I know there was a case of that one being busted in Florida. And I know that there was one, they said it was another one in a couple of more cities. So I know Florida and San Diego, San Francisco were the two that they mentioned about having those baby factory, those homes. So, yeah, that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me give a shout out to my girl, Miss Trigger. Thank you for your contribution on Cash App. I got you coming up next, Trouble. I want to read something real quick on YouTube that Brooke says. She says, have anyone seen the articles from Japan, China, Korea saying the economy is crumbling and they don't have enough children? I haven't particularly seen that, Brooke. I thought they were supposed to be forming this super currency, the BRICS and everything else, where you got China and some of these countries, Russia and the rest of them all, forming this super currency to go ahead and rival the US dollar. So I haven't actually seen that, sister, but thank you for just bringing that to our attention. I wouldn't say they don't have enough. I thought Japan economy was in pretty good shape, but like I said, I haven't really been keeping up much with it. So shout out to you, Brooke, for bringing that to our attention. Go ahead, Trouble, you got it.
Yeah, right quick. When you was talking about the whole model minority thing, I was doing a quick search online, and so I was looking up, Asians arrested, Asian crimes, Asian this and Asian that, trying to find the crimes that, and everything that keeps popping up, no matter what I put in, is showing crimes against Asians, but it's not showing the crimes that Asians have been committing. And I've been seeing a lot of different articles when I go inside other news sources online or just videos online with the crimes that they have been committing. But it's funny that when you do a Google search for the crimes that they've actually committed, how they keep putting things up there that is basically the crimes again. And it'll be the same articles over and over and over to make it seem like it's a whole page full of stuff that, you know, people have been doing against the Asians. But I'm sitting here looking at the articles like, okay, this y'all done repeated the same article about 7 times. And so now let me put in a new search and say, okay, Asian man arrested or Asian arrested, and yet you keep coming back to, oh, well, you know, Santa Barbara man allegedly punching the grandfather of an Asian man. Like, come on now, like that's not what I'm entering in. But if I punch in black crimes or crimes black people are committing, you give me a whole. I have many options of different articles to choose from. So it's the whole narrative that's being put out throughout not just the media, but even in your Google searches. It's like a whole system surrounding making certain groups of people seem like they are without crimes, seem like they are better than the Negroes. And they do that in every aspect of life, even when we were talking about on the educational level, you know, with making it seem like, oh, the Asians are so smart. No, our Negro children are smart. But we're not highlighting that. We do everything in the media to make it seem as if they're not smart. But all of these other groups are. It's a whole narrative, even down to the freaking Google searches, and it's quite disgusting. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I really have a whole lot to add other than that, because that's pretty annoying.
No, thank you. I appreciate you bringing it to our attention, Trouble. Definitely appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get to Original. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, what I want to say about what you were citing about, you know, the Asian in Japan and China, all of these Asian countries, their birth rate has plummeted. I mean, Japan is so concerned because all of them, they have more people dying that are being born. And see, remember when China had that one-child policy, and if a couple had gotten pregnant or whatever, they would force them to have abortions. And so now it's like that has affected their country so badly that they don't have enough people to do work and stuff like that. I mean, and now I think they changed the work to where I think they can have like what three kids or whatever, you know. But yeah, they have been jacked up for a while. But I've seen several exposés showing how Japan birth rate has fallen, so it has fallen below replacement. I'll just put it like that. And China is jacked up because of their one-child policy. And so, and then plus you have a lot of them that are trying to get the hell up out the joint because they don't want to live under communism. They call it oppression. But hey, we live in the American Negro live in a democracy, and we're living under oppression. So I don't know which one is worse, you know. But yeah, that's been going on for a long time, and that's why you got. I think it's China, Brazil, South Africa, and somebody else. But see, unfortunately, a lot of the African countries are not wise. Their children, I mean, just like China now. China is in Africa doing all kind of devious stuff. And what they're doing, they're having, and a lot of the African women they're not that, I don't know, I'll just say they're not that focused. They lay down with these nasty Chinese, and then the Chinese use them to get property. I mean, even they're over there beating Africans, you know, and some of the other Africans I've seen them holding other Africans so they let the Chinese beat them. This is insane. And so they're over there because they know that in China they eat basically everything that they had in China. So they eat, I mean, hell, they eat anything. And so now they over there want to kill all the animals in Africa. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pan out. That's why I keep telling the American Negro, we have to ally with ourselves. We can't depend on. We've already seen that when our people fought to have more black folks come to this country, they were glad to come, but they wasn't allying with us. So we just have to ally with ourselves and protect ourselves, and everybody else, you're on your own. And I'll land with that.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Original. Let me go ahead and get to Rella. Rella, we ain't going to keep the space going open too much longer. So if anybody wants to speak, definitely come on up here and raise your hand because we ain't going to keep it going too much longer. Go ahead, Rella. You got it.
Thank you. Yeah, the original trouble definitely was off. They were on point because you see how things that are happening there.
Real quick, Rella. Yeah, you got your headset on?
No, I'm connected to the car. Let me see.
Okay, because it was kind of sound like.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's way better.
Okay. So I was saying Original and Trouble and Stephanie are all on point because I wanted to I was just champion what Trouble was saying in regards to even how you do Google searches on crime in Asian communities, how Google has no statistic, no information, even the domestic terrorism that recently happened, you can't pull any of that information up. It's almost as if like they didn't struck it down so it doesn't come up to make society believe that these people are such the model minority that they don't commit any crime, that they are so good for the country, that they are a benefit to the country. But when you turn around and look at the data, it's not even adding up. It's not adding up, especially when they're always in the news or being arrested, things like that. You can't even find no information hardly on them when you Google them. And so that even goes for the other particular groups of Indian or Asians in any of the groups. You rarely have any statistics on Samoans, to any of the Asiatic, ethnicities that come up when you do Google searches. So again, I do believe, because I know for a fact that you can actually go onto Google and you can actually have things removed. So if they're working double time to do that, again, they are securing their community and they're trying to also make sure that they are taking and positioning themselves economically. You go into places to go shopping. Majority of the companies, restaurants are immigrants now. Rarely do you see anybody that is probably fully from our group in any capacity that's working. We're so displaced. Homelessness, housing, even businesses, they're not even giving us resources because they have us under that minority trope and they allow other groups who are majority in that minority trope to get the resources that are supposed to be coming to us. And that is a whole problem. It's the same thing with the whole situation with the Jewish community. They have crimes and they have things that happen in their community. You cannot Google any of that information to pull that up. The most that we'll get information from is social media when people post it or you see video. Like, if we didn't have, I think, this particular part of social media, you would think that these other groups were spotless, clean. They don't argue, fight, they don't commit no crime, and these are just people that are just great for the world. When you know that it's not even true.
All right. Thank you, Rella. I see we got Jess Cakes up here. We got a new speaker up here. So let me go ahead and get to Jess Cakes. How you doing tonight, sister?
I'm doing all right. Good evening. How y'all doing?
Oh, we doing good.
All right. So, of course, the Chinese, the Asian, quote unquote, will be the model minority, especially considering that America owes their country trillions and trillions of dollars. It makes so much sense. They came a long way from the yellow hate and all the other stuff. One thing I have noticed, just as everybody else, is no matter what, Black people are the problem. During coronavirus, and we all seen right through that, we was the problem when the Asians was getting knocked around. Even though the Blacks that were shown, it looked a little sus, but for the ones that looked that was valid, but majority of the hate crimes was being created. Was being done by white people. Okay, those were the majority of people, as usual, brutalizing the Asians. But God forbid you tell the truth. I don't know why Black people have become the face of everything that's wrong. Here we are now in our Black business, and we the reason they don't have to way to rope us into this Hamas and Israel issue and stuff like that. No matter what, everything wrong is always got a Black face. Like the lady was saying, how she Googled and looked for crimes committed by Asians, and she Googled it every which way. Even though we know Google is not a reliable resource anymore, it just goes to show you the propaganda that's being put out there. Blacks are the face of crime. Even though you got these Venezuelans coming over, committing all these crimes and getting let go, here it is in the Chicago police station when they was getting housed there, a fight broke out. I don't know if it was at a station or a field house, but the Venezuelans jumped on the police. How about only one person got charged, nobody got shot, and the one person that got charged, even though it was more than one person that jumped on the police officers, they got charged with a misdemeanor. But you didn't see it. You didn't see their picture plastered all over the news and social media as the crime and stuff like that. These people commit a lot of crime. No matter what, no matter what's going on, Black people are the face of crime. And that is scary just because if you look at history, the Holocaust didn't start at the gas chamber. It started with the propaganda and making them people seem like they less than human, that they did not deserve humanity, that they were nothing but criminals and beneath everybody. So that's the scary thing about it. And I'll land it down. I don't want to monopolize all the time.
All right. Well, thank you, sister. I appreciate you coming up here. Stephanie, let me get to that Negro real quick because he hadn't had a chance to speak. That Negro, what's going on? How you doing tonight?
Doing great, brother. Newstoter and DJ. Mad respect, y'all. Got to do my spill. Peace, power, and Negro reparations, specifically for the descendants of the Black American Negroes who built America with slave labor, per the lands promised in Special Field Orders 15, January 16th, 1865. So yeah, this Asian stuff is crazy. I read, man, I keep on reading it, and it's just wild how they pay attention to everybody but us. You know, it's like we're waving a red flag and they can't seem to see that. But I have a solution for all of us right now in a way where all of us can help. You know, you can pitch in. I put it up in the Jumbotron Newstoter. I hope that's all right. It is, I finally get to talk to my senator here in the 26th LD in Washington State. I have an hour meeting with him on this coming Monday, the 11th, at 1:30 to 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. That would be 4:30 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. and Irie and myself are going to be telling them, first of all, showing the resolutions, which I hope everybody's had a chance. I'll share them in a minute. But share the resolution with our demands, what the minimum payment is for each Black American Negro's head of household is $1.45 million. That's a minimum, the lowest amount they could give us. I'll be stating all those Negro facts in this meeting straight to my Democratic senator's face in an hour-long meeting. We're going to present for 30 minutes and then have questions and answers, 20 minutes. As soon as they told me that this was actually going to happen, I found out that my actual senator isn't coming, but because he already knows that they've already had this resolution. They know what's coming too. They just don't know it's coming from, you know what I'm saying? I hope to, I know with Irie, we are going to show decorum like no other, be respectful, but kill them with our truth. So I'm sorry I'm not trying to take up the time, but please, everybody, whether you're in Washington State or not, I would like for when these people turn on those cameras and they open that meeting to it be the biggest amount of Black American Negroes ready to show up and show out. So please fill out that, make sure to click yes on the link and show up. I'm not asking for anyone to speak or nothing like that. Irie and myself will take care of it, but please let's do this from across the country and show them, like these full Twitter spaces, what it's going to look like in every state when this comes their way. Thank you again, Newstoter, and I'll yield right there.
Thank you. I appreciate that, brother. Shout out to that Negro as well, too. He's got that. If he has it up in the Jumbotron, guys, definitely go ahead and retweet that out as well. Stephanie, you're going to be our last speaker for the night. Then we're going to go ahead and shut this thing down. We're going to shut it down for the night, guys. Like I say, for those that can support on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. $Newstoter, $Newstoter. We'll be back Monday, guys. I'm going to go ahead and let my girl Stephanie go ahead and get it in before we go ahead and close it out for the night.
Okay, I just want to say that also the Asians are now deemed white, so a lot of them are celebrating that they can now identify as white. So I just wanted to put that out there. And also responding to Rella, we have to see if we can get our politicians to write bills about discrimination against Black people as far as these owning nail salons and opening up wholesale beauty supply stores and stuff like that, because a lot of these people that own these nail technician companies, stores, they're not allowing Black nail techs to work for them because they're Black. Also, they don't want them to buy from wholesale distributors because they're threatening to cancel their contracts with these companies, which is why a lot of Black wholesale beauty supply stores fail and stuff like that. So we have to write to our legislator and see if we can get something done to pass bills and stuff for, hefty fines, losing their licenses or what have you. So I just wanted to bring that up to you. And also, Just Cakes, I know you guys are in Chicago. Be aware that a lot of those Venezuelans and those Guatemalans, they come from the country that have 2 of the highest femicide rates throughout Latin America. So just be careful and tread lightly when it comes to those specific groups. And that's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Quick shout out to my girl, Brooke, as well, too. Shout out to you, Brooke. Thank you for your contribution on Cash App. Go ahead, DJ. We're going to go ahead and let you get it in, and then we'll get to close it out for the night.
Yo, my bad. Getting the Jumbotron, y'all, getting the purple chat. So when y'all say, or not when y'all say, but trouble when you say, hey, look, it's hard to find this information. That's because they're erasing this stuff in real time now. They're erasing this stuff in real time. So let's go back about a year now. The situation with our brother Kyrie Irving. Shout out to the homie, you know what I mean? Jersey in the building too, you know what I mean? So remember when all this Hebrews, the Negroes, and Yanni Shemitic and all this other stuff went down. When I tell you, YouTube were scrubbing so many documentaries by black authors. I mean, stuff that was on YouTube before jokers knew YouTube was YouTube. Been there for over a decade. Ain't got no hits, no real views on it, nothing. Gone, just like that, you know what I mean? So this is the perfect opportunity for us to understand one thing. You gotta start archiving this stuff, yo. I don't know what that looks like to everybody. I know what DJ does. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't believe what I'm saying, all you gotta do is get in the Jumbotron. The information is right there. I am on this shit, like, excuse my French, but I'm on it. You feel what I'm saying? I'm on it. You need to be on it too. So go to the store while it's the holidays, and things that are on sale. Go buy an external hard drive. A terabyte. Shit will run you no more than 50 bones. Specifically, get a Western Digital. It will last as long as you're not running it hard. You know what I'm saying? If you decide to go the flash drive route, make sure it's a SanDisk. SANDISK. You know that company. Top of the line. So with that being said, start archiving these pictures. Start doing the backup to the backup to the backup. Get you a digital drive too, like a Google Drive or some type of Microsoft Enterprise Drive. They run as little as $2 a month for 200 gigs. That's a lot of pictures. You know what I'm saying? That's probably like 100,000 pictures, 200,000 pictures. You can hold screenshots, the little videos, the most important stuff that you feel is important that our folks gonna need in the future. Because once they scrub everything that has to do with civil rights, emancipation, and all the stuff that our people don't fight for and still fight for, this is why it's easy for them to say, hey, well, the Asians came up. Why can't you? Well, hold up a minute. That was a long ago. Well, no, not really. It says right here. See, we got to be able to do our best James Baldwin impression on these people. You can't verse me because you ain't even from this country. So all them Asians that you saw, or specifically, Chinese people that you saw down at the border, Tata, this is why I was doing those Chinese faces last year. CCP. I know it's been a minute, no, but you got to get on this stuff, yo. These people, like Original said, have ate themselves out of house and home. You know how you get stuck in the snow? Eat all your food that you don't bought up, and it's still snowing outside and can't get to the store? It's snowing every day in Asia. You know what I'm saying? For thousands of years. These folks ain't got nothing. And they look what their government do to them. They be killing them over there. You think our government's some terrorists? Ooh, CCP, they bad. And just to reiterate what Stephanie said about be careful about particular groups. Remember, I ain't hate to do a spoiler alert, but I'm on these movies. I'm bootleg dog. So if y'all seen they clone Tyrone, what was the main thing Tyrone kept saying when he went to go get a drink at the liquor store? Old girl that he was hanging with was missing, but you was with her every day. China, they taking people organs, yo. Who got the strongest organs? White people. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. It's the reason why our folks all of a sudden just like a Dexter Wade just wound up dead. You know what I'm saying? So, my colleague Browder just wound up committing suicide. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Sean Bell just wound up getting gunned down on his wedding night. Nah, these people got the type of blood and the type of strength of the organs that they need. We got it. They don't got it. We got it. You feel what I'm saying? So make sure when y'all go out, go in packs of tubes. Don't tell your kids to go to the store by themselves unless the whole neighborhood kids is going. And then that's the only way. Because look how these folks are coming in the country now also kidnapping kids. A lot of these Africans, you're not exempt. Y'all be on it. A lot of y'all Caribbeans, y'all on it too. Y'all be up here kidnapping our people and selling them to the Arabs and the Chinese. Remember, Brother Moko, shout out to BMO Codified, did a space about how this dude over in Harvard or Yale, one of them prestigious white schools, got busted for selling bones, organs, corpses, all this stuff to the Chinese. Let's not forget also, there was a Chinese spy who wound up taking a whole lot of autonomous, keyword autonomous, information from Apple, about autonomous driving. So when you go get your Tesla and it got Apple connectivity in it, man, all China got to do is hit the button. You going off the road, fam. It's over. I know y'all done seen that movie Red Dawn, original with Patrick Swayze was in it. You know what I mean? But you know about that Red Dawn stuff. You know what I mean? They gonna fly right out the sky. Right?
They got two versions of that movie, and I like both of them.
On fire, but that Patrick Swayze joint was fire though. Know what I'm saying? That's the original. Know what I mean? You heard up. But I ain't gonna hold the space too long. I know our brother trying to go. It's Thirsty Thursday, so you already know. Enjoy y'all weekend, fam. I'm out.
Shout out to you, DJ and Newstoter. I just looked up online. 47% of Venezuelans is coming to Florida.
Hey, I know I was we had went to the fair and I was looking around, man. This was what, in November, and I was looking around. I'm like, because I'm in North Florida, I'm like, damn, I'm like, it's a lot of Hispanics up here now. Like, it's not like South Florida and Central Florida where they've taken over, but I'm looking around and I'm like, yo, in the next 10 years or so, I wonder, because I know we make up, like, in Tallahassee, black people are like 30 some odd % of the population. And I'm wondering in the next 10, 15 years if that's going to be the case, because I was looking around and I'm like, damn, before I would say 10, 15 years ago, you may have had the Hispanic population may have been 5-6% up here, maybe a little bit more, but but now I'm turning around every time I look and see, I'm seeing more and more of them. So it's like, hey, they coming. I don't know what else we could really do about it, but they coming.
I told her we took a vacation to Florida a couple of years ago, and my husband straight up showed his natural behind, like, oh my God, he embarrassed us so bad, because he dead ass got to Florida and was like, where the Negroes at? Where all these Mexican people coming from? All I see is nothing but Spanish. Every time I go somewhere, nothing but these Spanish people. What the hell are niggas that? Like, I don't remember it being like this. Like, he kept fussing the whole. I mean, we were there for about a week, and every day he was fussing about it. Like, you kind of ruining the vacation, bro. Like, please chill. You knew where you was going. He's like, it ain't never been like this before. He was mad.
Yeah, it depends on what part of the state y'all was at. If you was in South Florida or Central Florida, I could definitely say that. And like I say, North Florida is like the last stronghold, but slowly but surely, and the Panhandle, let's be for real, the Panhandle is really, really redneckish. But even in the Panhandle, I'm starting to see a lot. Like I said, the next 10 years. Definitely within the next 20 years, it's gonna be different. Just to say that, it's gonna be totally different. Go ahead, DJ.
You ain't gotta wait 20 years. It's over with now, bro. If you're seeing it the way you're seeing it in your neighborhood that you've been in all these years, that's been somewhat predominantly black owned, ran, operated, resided, it's over, bro. So with that also being said, you have to remember, let's think about our little kids. When you were a kid or coming up to be a young teenager, the first thing you were thinking about was, dang, I can't wait till I get a job so I can save up for a car, save up for my college, do what I got to do, help my dukes around the house, give some money to pops, whatever, right? Guess what? That's over with. Our kids ain't going to be able to go to these little McDonald's and the little Piggly Wigglies to bag up groceries and help people, because the tether gang is getting those jobs. So with that being said, how is your kids going to be able to save for college and save for a car or save for their first apartment if these jokers are getting the jobs? The McDonald's, just add it up, bro. So therefore, meaning, I know we're reparation based, but hey, we might have to go full MAGA laga. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you, because it's over with, yo. It is over. You know what I mean? Depending on where you might be at. And
well, my neighborhood is still predominantly black, but the city itself is starting to it's changing.
Right. So with that being said, like you said, the city is changing. Who fault is that? Hey, get in the jumbotron, get in the purple track. I got a post up there with 4-way pictures in the collage. It say, hey, if your friends are Roscoe Baraka, the mayor of North, you could get a house for $1. Who getting the houses for $1 in North? The foreign investors, we call those the LLC boys. That's China. So if you look that up, Trouble, look up China or Asia, or Asians rather, you know what I mean, which they not a group of people, buying up military bases over here in the Midwest and over in the far West. You feel what I'm saying? Next to buying up these farmlands that's next to old military bases. And guess what? Guess who's selling it to them? The white folks. So with that being said, y'all already know what time it is. Black State of America. Make sure y'all follow Brother Black. In the room, Black. Oh, there you go, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you. You know what I mean? Follow the brother with the big red beat. We on this way. So, and matter of fact, with that being said, hey, what's going on with that space? You know what I'm saying? Because that needs to be said about us. You know, a lot of our folks, we get most of the pushback about the Black State coming from our people. It ain't coming from none of the tether gang. Keep it real, it's coming from within. So a lot of folks that's out there in the Midwest and the West Coast, we get a lot of pushback from y'all specifically about Black State. We're not asking y'all to move. We only asking those that's willing to do this work to just come on and just get it done. So that may not be you. Same thing with our reparations. You got to ask yourself, hey, what does reparations look like to me? You may not want to be like me out here handing out newsletters, producing newsletters, staying up all hours of the night. You may not be like a reparationist perspective. Got 300 videos, 2 to 10 hours of video talk about reparations. Done filmed all the task forces in California, AB 3121. We ain't working hard enough, man, because it can't just be a Newstoter, a Black State, this person and that person doing work. Everybody got to be doing the exact same thing. So that way it look like it's getting done. Because that's what my great auntie said to me. I don't see y'all doing anything. Dad, auntie, we doing everything we can get. No, y'all not, because I don't see it. Dad, we got to pull up a gun on somebody? Pretty much. That's what she said. You know what I'm saying? I want to see it go down. You know what I mean? Not so much in the violence, but hey, where y'all at? This is coming from a 90-year-old woman, y'all, that don't work for City Hall, stomp her way to in these marches. Trust and believe me. You know what I mean?
All righty. On that note, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to close the space out for the night. So we're going to check you guys out Monday. Everybody be safe. And I appreciate everybody coming in tonight once again and showing support. Definitely check out the YouTube channel. Bunch of spaces that we've uploaded, over 300 some odd videos. So if you get a chance, just check it out, see what's up, and definitely visit the site newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news. Like I said, towards the end of this month, going to the next month, guys, we're going to start having a membership based on the actual site. You're going to have your own community if you want to go over there and, just comment on some of the actual topics that we're talking about. There's a bunch of content on there. So we're going to start to form our own little community over there as well, too. It's a way very, very cheap. It'll only be $1. Maybe 25, 30 cents for those that want to support. We got all kind of different tiers we're going to have develop or whatever. So just trying to go ahead and actually get our actual people in one space as well too, and have your own media machine behind you as well too. But the media only works if the actual people, we have the actual numbers and stuff like that. So we're going to start reaching out to people once we add that membership base to go ahead and try to start networking and within on our own site, and have an actual site where you can actually say what you want to, as long as you're not threatening anybody, of course, anything with reason. If somebody's sitting up here talking about, terrorist type stuff, we can't have that. But, speak your truth. You have that, you'll have that ability to do that as well too. So I would definitely keep you guys posted, and all my people that follow that be in the spaces. I'm going to try to get all of y'all, for those that can afford $1.25 a month. We'll definitely be looking to try to get you guys on there and try to go ahead and bring some other people in there so we can create our own network, so we can go ahead and get information out there in mass, because having 2-3 people retweet something out ain't the same as having 500 people or 1,000 people as well too. So we want to go ahead and build up our own media coalition as well too. People can start forming their own groups and everything and do whatever they want to do or whatever. And just bringing people to the actual community over there. And we can just go ahead and do what we got to do, guys. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and end this space. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for everybody who contributed on Cash App. Thank you for all the speakers, listeners. Thank you to the co-hosts. And guys, we'll see you Monday. Everybody be safe and have a good weekend.
Peace. Tether's going tether, y'all. Ain't no H and hate crime. Cool.